Hey guys, Hector Castillo here from girlschase.com. Today I want to talk about how to ask a girl out as naturally as possible. Now the word natural is a bit mystifying, either when it's used to describe a guy who's really good with girls naturally, like, oh, he's just a natural with women, or when we're talking about specifics like this. How do you ask a girl out naturally? How do you talk to a girl naturally? Well, naturally simply means it felt organic and it felt natural. So it doesn't actually have to be technically natural. She just needs to feel as if it kind of just happened, right? Let's say you ask a girl home, hey, you want to go have some wine at my place? Sure, okay. I think in her mind, she really knows what might happen. Maybe not. I've never been in a girl's mind, but it seems like they have some awareness that you intend to maybe try something sexual or romantic. But on the surface, too, there is, no, we're just going to go have wine. So even if she realizes the possibility of something happening, on the surface, we're just going for wine. But then you start talking and taking a little bit too many sips of the wine, and then next thing you know, she's gobbling on your cock. So it doesn't have to be something actually natural. It just has to feel natural in her memory and in her feelings at the time of when you do it. So when you ask her out, how do you make it natural? My answer is that you have to adjust to the context and you have to adapt to it vocally and as well as verbally and non-verbally. So let's go through those three parts: vocally, verbally, and then non-verbally. Vocally, I mean in the sense of how you're saying it, right? How's your voice sound? Does it have that purr? Are you intonating at the right parts? Are you emphasizing the right letters, the right syllables? That's what makes speech attractive, is the vocal nature of the words you're actually using. And then of course, there's the verbal part of what words are you using. If she's talking about, let's say you met her on the street and, oh, sorry, Mr. Mike, and she's on her way to work and you're talking about her job. You're like, oh, cool. Where are you heading? Oh, I'm going to work. Oh, what do you do? Oh, I do this. Awesome, awesome. And then you just randomly hit her with like, hey, you want to go go-karting sometime? Or you want to go rock climbing? Okay, there's not going to be a great feeling of naturalness between you two in that seduction. It's going to feel like you kind of just forced it and it was out of context and it doesn't feel natural. And that's going to lower the chances of her saying yes. Whereas if you're talking to her about work and she tells you how she's a lawyer and you're like, oh, I've always been interested in law. It's something that's kind of piqued my interest, but, because I like to argue, but I never really actually studied it, but that's awesome that you're doing it. And she's like, yeah, thank you. So what do you do? Oh, I do this, blah, blah, blah. I'm actually a writer. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So, I like the writing part of legal work or whatever, right? So the conversation is very organically developing. And then you could say, yeah, it kind of feels like copywriting or something. I don't know. You make some weird fucking connection between writing and then her legal writing. And you're like, yeah, that's actually what I do most of the time for a living. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Hey, it would be really cool if we sat down and had some coffee. We could get to know each other. And, I find law is really interesting and we have a lot in common or something. Something like that. Something where that feels as if it made contextual sense for you to say it in that way. Now, obviously, every time you ask a girl out, it doesn't have to be as web-like as that was, right? There was a lot of things going on there, and super specific way of asking a girl out. You can simply just say, hey, let's grab some coffee sometime, if the context makes sense. So the last part of the triumvirate of being natural when you ask a girl out, right? The first one being the vocal tone, the second being your choice of words based on the context. The third part is nonverbal. How are you actually looking at her? How is your body moving? Do you seem nervous? Do you seem calm? What is it about the way you're presenting your request or your suggestion that is going to pique her interest and make her think, okay, yeah, I'm gonna say yes. And the most attractive ways to guide your body and your attention while you're asking her out is usually to have very, very strong eye contact. When it comes to the point where you want to deliver a compliment or ask a girl home or ask a girl out, that's the pivotal moment and you've got to be locked in, right? You can't just be like, everything else could be perfect and be like, hey, we should have coffee sometime, right? So your tone was okay. Your choice of words were very casual and standard. Oh, we should have coffee sometime, right? It's good because you're suggesting it and then you're saying it in a very casual manner, which means that you're not making it a big deal, which is attractive. And then you're saying it again with a good vocal tone, but you're looking over here. Or you're not, even if you're looking at her, but just slightly to the right, it doesn't have the same punch as when you're looking her in the eyes. Like, hey, we should totally grab coffee sometime. That's a lot more powerful than when you're missing one of the elements. When you have all of them together, it makes for a really good ask. So let's go over that again real quick. First, look at the context of the conversation. If there isn't something super specific that you can say like, oh, you just bonded over jazz, be like, hey, why don't we, go to a jazz bar and have wine? That would be a very good high value contextual part of asking her out. But if there isn't that element of where you guys have that thing, then you could just wait for a block in the conversation, a gap, and it kind of dies down and you say, yeah, you're a cool girl. We should go out sometime. Or that she's about to have to go to work. She's like, hey, I'm kind of in a hurry. Be like, okay, cool, no worries. I just want to talk for, 2 seconds. What's your name? Get to know her. And then so she's in a hurry, but she's still giving you the attention, so that she's interested, but then you do have to ask her out relatively quickly because she's about to go to work. So you finish a thread of conversation and you say, yeah, this is what I do, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. She says, okay, cool. All right. There's a stop in the conversation, and there's a chance that if you don't say anything to keep the conversation going, she's gonna say, hey, well, like I said, I was in a hurry and I should get going. And you don't want to ask a girl out once that point of the conversation comes, right? There's certain timings that are really important. And the best way to gauge your timing, again, is context. So you understood the context. She has to go to work. The conversation's kind of dying. Here's the perfect time. Hey, you should give me your Instagram or your number or your Facebook, whatever it is, and say, I should grab your number and we can totally grab a coffee sometime. Or you can even make it smaller. Be like, we should get coffee sometime. There's a lot of different ways you can play with it. It's very artistic. You can use a question, not use a question. You can use a demand, like, let's grab coffee sometime, right? Now that's very direct. You're not asking, you're not suggesting, you're just saying, let's do it sometime. That's a little more attractive, but it also has a higher risk because you're kind of just saying, this is how it's gonna be, right? So there's a lot of creativity that can go in there, but the main point is pay attention to the context. Now, as for how you deliver it, you should always be working on your voice. It's an instrument. Learn what works, like what is well received by women. What kinds of speech is it better when you talk a little bit lower, but then maybe you're talking too slow because you're not naturally that low. So you have to go a little bit higher, but you can still keep it a low pitch, but a high volume so that you seem confident, right? There's a lot of ways you can be creative with your voice as well. So have fun with that and try isolating variables. So trying to ask 5 girls out saying, hey, we should grab coffee sometime. And then try different ways of expressing it with your voice and see which one has the best results. And then as for your body language, I would say when it comes to the point of asking her out, it's universally, you gotta be very strong, stable base. Let the conversation, the conversation stops and then you stop. You're like, all right, here's the moment. Be like, hey, by the way, we should grab coffee sometime. Boom, right? So your strong base, good eye contact, right? If she's next to you, right here, like, hey, you're cool. We should grab coffee sometime. And then keep eye contact, right? And she's gonna say, yeah, that would be cool. Okay, awesome. Do you have an Instagram, phone number, whatever? Take it, boom. And then you have a natural ask out. Vocal tone, choice of words, and body language. All right, hope you enjoyed the video. This is Hector Castillo from girlschase.com. Please let me know in the comment section if this helps you and if you tried this experiment and if you got better results than you normally did. If not, please let me know and I'll try and give you some more tips on asking girls out in a natural way. Follow me on social media, ring the bell so you can get notifications for all awesome videos, because I know we just went over asking a girl out, but sometimes you might have a problem with actually approaching a girl, actually having a conversation, right? Your trouble is actually getting to the point where you ask her out. If you need help with that, I'll put some videos in the description. And again, ring the bell so you can see all the new videos coming up. See you guys.